So the recording has started, and this will be available after the presentation. Usually a few days after we'll have it uploaded, and you can re-watch the presentation and go over any items that you want to see again. My name is Samuel McAllister, and I am a building information modeling senior technical sales specialist for Autodesk Australia. Today's webinar, if I just click on the next slide, it has some key learning objectives. What I'm going to do is not stick fully to a script. I'm going to try and show you a few more deeper dives on bits and pieces. So this is our key objectives. So setting yourself apart from the competition, using tools to create walkthroughs for your clients. So tools like Navisworks to inspect the models, and we also have BIM 360 Glue as well, and A360 tools on the iPad. Impressing your prospects by demonstrating your understanding of design intent and recognizing the potential issues before they get built. So for those of you who have worked in a VDC environment, understanding that model fully before you go out on site is incredibly valued, because it reduces a lot of risk with issues that could happen on site. So opening up these proposals and checking them with your stakeholders is really important, flagging those issues before you're out on site. And then, of course, showing your prospects how the designs would exist in today's environment. If you're doing a prestigious project, say like in the CBD environment, and there's a lot of people who could be affected by that design proposal, it's really important to use some of these visual communication tools and construction tools to show the products in the design environment. A little bit about me. I've been at Autodesk coming up to 5 years now, and I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I was an architect in the UK for around about 10 years, and I've been involved in designing buildings originally in New Zealand, but also in the UK, Australia, and also did a lot of projects around Europe and in the Middle East. So quick sample video here. This is actually sort of my claim to fame in Autodesk. I actually got to design the Revit model for the 2014 and beyond release. This is just a quick snapshot of the original design model. It's been changed a little bit for the release, but this is one of the things that I do at Autodesk. So I'm sort of a generalist on a lot of products, but the core products are the ones that you find in the suites like Revit, Navisworks, AutoCAD, and some of our newer tools in the BIM 360 product range. So I want to start off with Navisworks. So I'm just going to make sure I keep an eye on the time and an eye on the template here for questions. So just a reminder, if there's anything you have questions on, please type them into the question poll here on the right, and I will try and maybe just open up the software and show you a bit of a deeper dive at the end of each section, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end, full Q&A. So for those of you new to Navisworks, it's got a very clean and simple interface, but it's a very powerful application with some of the tools to do more advanced workflows in our timeliner and clash detection and quantification and even rendering. One of the simple ways of just engaging with your model is to use the viewport tool here in the ribbon interface. So with Navisworks, even if you're not working in a Revit or Autodesk-based product environment for the authoring tool, Navisworks will allow you to open up to 56 different file formats. So if you're working with Frank Gehry using CATIA, you can still bring this information. You can open it up in a BIM environment and then navigate through this model. So what I've got here on the screen is one of the standard Navisworks avatars, and I've just got a few tools clicked on here to walk through the model. So if you need to configure this type of navigation tool, we have some tools, what I call under the hood, where you can adjust the camera view, the heights that you need to be at, collision settings, and also you can even adjust the viewer's radius and IFset. So there's all these different things that you can set up for the different type of navigation through the model that you want to walk through. So it could be a health and safety exercise. You can customize Navisworks avatars to work with those sort of limitations. Like all Autodesk products, we have this little navigation tool here on the right. So whenever you move from one application to another, you've got the familiar pan, view, orbit, zoom, and walk tools. And there's a great little graphic display tool here as well for different types of lighting and rendering modes. Also, you can turn on and off geometry or vector lines. And if you've got laser scan information, if you're using, say, Autodesk Recap to bring in point cloud data, you can turn on the point cloud information and that will register to inside of Navisworks. Over here, this is just the options. So to get the graphics looking their best, you can go here and click on the Autodesk effects, and there's all these tools to make the graphic look better. However, if you're working with a really large model, you can also use this to reduce the heavy graphics drivers or displays here and get the model working a lot faster. So what I have here, if I just quickly show you a Navisworks model, simply when you go to find these are the tools here. You can turn on the walk tool, you can bring up the third person for the avatar, and with the feet here we can walk around the model. You can see I'm floating around a little bit in space, but I can turn on crouch and gravity, and now when I go to walk through the model, I can fall down to earth, use my familiar Autodesk navigation tools. Looks like I'm trapped somewhere here right now. Let's just get out of that, and we'll just angle up. Let's get that back a little bit, angle up, and simply what we're going to be doing here is just using it to navigate around the model, and then if we're not doing anything too complex at the beginning, we just want to do a revision cloud, maybe we're looking at a junction, what you can do is you can start to use these tools to inspect the models, type in your text, and now you've got a markup on that model. So that's simply the navigation tool inside of Navisworks there. The other great thing here is you can bring in these different file formats. You can merge different information in. So let's say you've got an architect's model, mechanical model, plumbing model. You can bring this in. It's important to make sure you've got the right set coordinates, share coordinates set up inside of your authoring tools. You can click on the item tools and move these around if needed, but usually if you've got a good BIM execution plan, when you come to merge this information, so here it's saying it's adding geometry and data to that environment, it will come in the right location. So in this case, I'm looking at a crane. With this crane, this is come from a non-Autodesk product, and what's great about Navisworks is it will still start to read some of the information from the selection tree. So maybe I've got a job coming up and I need to work out how many cranes I need to hire. I need to work out the diameter that the boom will spin. I can go into this model, go into the selection tree, and I can start to set up the rotation of that crane boom. So even if the model isn't made perfectly, you can go to the item tools and there's a little rotate tool, and you can get the gizmo and you can move it to the center, the pivot point of that crane. So it takes a little bit of tweaking, but it allows you to move that boom into the right location. And when you come to simulate it to work out whether it's going to be able to lift materials off the ground and load them up to the floor or the location on the site, you can use this little animator tool here, and very simply it will allow you to do that rotation. Maybe there's other factors in play as well. Maybe there's other buildings nearby. Maybe you need to work out whether it's going to clash or hit certain components if you're lifting items from point A to point B. What I'm simply doing here is creating an animation set for the crane boom, and then just using the rotate tool. So across a lot of Autodesk applications, you'll find the move, the rotate, the scale tool, same graphics, so you're always going to find it. This one, I'm just going to move the gizmo, the XYZ gizmo, into the center of that crane point, and then now I've got the correct axis for that crane to rotate. So I now know that whatever I'm wanting, wherever I'm wanting to place that crane or cranes, and if I need to rotate it around, I know the extent of that crane boom. It's not going to clash with anything. You know, there's all these things that you got to be aware of on construction sites. You know, it could be overhead power lines, neighboring buildings, lifting items over fences or over walls. All of this can be accurately simulated using this basic principle inside of Navisworks with the Animator tool without too much effort. So this is just a simple animation. I'm just showing the crane spinning around 180 degrees, and now when I go to play it, this is playing, say, over 20 seconds. So the crane motor will have a certain speed. You can see the boom's not perfect there. It doesn't have to be perfect. But we can say, well, how many materials are we going to pick up and drop down during an average day? We can start to really get into a deeper workflow here and use Navisworks to start to work that out. So it's a really powerful tool for construction simulation with, say, non-building components, but with mechanical components that we need, or plant that we need to build that building. There's other tools as well. You can create cameras to set certain positions. So this is just basically adding a camera to that setup as well. And I do have a quick video on that. So nothing amazing. It's just a quick camera to move around that site. It doesn't necessarily need to be for a crane. It could be maybe in a corridor, maybe an underground car park. You may want to simulate the time that it takes for a fire egress to, say, walk from the furthest point in that room to the escape door. You can set up a camera as well and have that path mapped there, and then set up the per second rate to move from point A to point B. And then if you need to push this out to share with your customers, you can send this out as AVIs, and you can set the frames per second, etc. So it's a really easy workflow to share this information with other people. So this is just one of the outputs you can get here, and the different types of graphics if you really want to make it quite sharp. What we're finding with a lot of our global accounts or our major accounts like Langer & Rourke, they're doing this. They're going way above and beyond what I'm showing here on the screen to show cranes and concrete pours and in situ columns. All of this they're doing using tools like 3ds Max to win prestigious jobs. So it is becoming really important for major players in the game. So just making sure no questions yet in the questions here. So we've got a few more attendees on board. That's great. So another one is, say, installation of certain steel components, and there might be a particular sequence of events that need to take place on site to install some steel. Maybe it's a prefab component. Maybe you want to produce like an IKEA type assembly graphic to show how the plates go on, how the bolts and the washers all connect up, and what the stages are to do that. So even with advanced steel data, so this is an application that Autodesk released under the Autodesk banner a couple of years ago. This works with Revit. We take it into Autodesk Advanced Steel. We add the steel connections. This can also go out to Navisworks, and we can start to create an assembly type animation here. So this looks at when the plates go on, when the bolts go on. We can angle the cameras. I mean, this one's more of a graphical one. But if you need to show this to somebody working on site who's just received some steel work and they need to know how it's meant to be installed, they can open up the Navisworks model and see this installation video showing them how to attach those plates, how to fix the bolts, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Okay, this is our timeliner application. So what I'm going to do is just show you this on the product. So we're just going to move away from this markup here, and I'm just going to turn off our avatar. And what I've got here, just for anybody who's new to Navisworks, usually you typically work across Autodesk products where you start on the left, start on the first tab, and then migrate through to the right. So over here on the left is how you can bring in all your different file formats, so you can merge it or append it. You can start to refresh information, reset information. When it comes in, on the left here, I have both an architecture and a structure data set. So I just zoom out, and what I'm going to do is just go to my viewport. Say viewport, just bring up my views, just escape out of that. What I have here is a number of saved views from the model. And you can see graphically it's just slowing down a little bit. Let me go to... Alright, so here we have a star view, and I'm just going to go wireframe and just turn off the lights. So this is our start view here. What you have is a number of things that you can do to interrogate the data. So when you go to select something and you want to look at the properties of it, so I would just select a wall here. This one's actually divided up into parts. Let me go and grab something simpler like that one. What it's going to do is it's going to reveal information about the properties of that wall. So someone who's new to the project just wants to know, what's that core made out of? You can see it's 300 mil thick concrete. And then there's certain relationships between the parent and children relationships of the objects. So when you select on the main grouping here, this is the main parent, and then below here are some of the children components that relate to that wall. The next things we have over here, just moving on, are selection sets. What you can do with selection sets, if I just go to manage sets, is you can create a whole lot of sets or saved searches to find items in your model. So if I go and just look at something simple like the piles, and I'll go show, and I'm going to hide unselected. And what it's going to do is it's got a selection set, and it's gone and grabbed every pile in the model for me. Some other ones, for example, could be, if I turn off hide selected, could be, say, I want to know how much steel is in the atrium. So hide unselected, it's going to bring up all those steel properties. And maybe I'm the fabricator wanting to look at the model now, and I'm going, well, hang on, what's that bit of steel there? And I can see, oh, look, there's a UB here, 250 UB 37.3. That's not in the right place, or maybe this one here needs refinement, or I need more information on the connection details. So simply what you can do is you can go through and create different types of selection sets to help you find the information that you need in the model. Another thing you can do here is you can create searches. So if I just click out of here, let's say it's from a non-Autodesk product, and we want to go and find items. You click on find items, and I'm just going to dock this down the bottom here. What this will do is it will find parameters in your model. So let's say I go for the architecture. Actually, I'll go for the structure, and let's keep it simple. So these are the NWC, the Navisworks cache files from the authoring applications. I'm just going to do a simple one where, let me bring this across a little bit. It's always good to maybe have two screens sometimes for our products because they've got a lot of functionality within them. So here when you click on it, you don't actually see the menu. You've got to actually click on the blank space here on the right to bring it up. If I go and click on item, and you can see there's numerous other categories you can choose from, and then go next to property being name, and then condition equals, and then value. So these are all the values that Navisworks is reading from certain parameters of my model. So some of them, if you look here, data from the National Building Library. So I've got some stuff from the UK National Building Library. So I want to find all of those sanitary items. So I'll click on that, and this is just my basic search. And then I'm going to go and find all. It's not going to find it in the structure because it's not in the structure model. So let me go find all because it'll be in the architecture model. And what that should have done is found those components. And of course, with live demos, they never work fully the way you want. Okay, let me go and unhide all, and let me just do another one. So let me go back to go structure and find something which is related to structure. And I'll just see if I can find, say, some concrete. So concrete, and now we go find all. There we go. This time it worked. So what it's done is it's gone through and it's found all the items which are cast in situ concrete panels. And if I just hide unselected, I now have these concrete panels, and I'm just going to go to my view just to make this a little bit clearer. Kind of looks a little bit better. There we go. So that's a little bit of a nicer graphic here. So you can see here it's grabbed all these floor slabs, and I've used divide and parts here. So it's even though these are broken down into divide and parts, maybe for precast workflows, or these are, in this case we're doing cast in situ. So this is for in situ pours. What we can do here, instead of having to redo this again, is we can go to our Home tab, and we can go to Sets and go Manage Sets, and then we can go and create a new save search. So you can see here I've kind of tried to organize everything into folders. I'll just do a new folder and call it, oops, not inside of there. So let me just deselect that. Let me do it. All right, just drag that out. There we go. Drag that out. So this one could be, say, conc pause. And now, within that, I'm going to save that search, and this is cast in situ, and now I have that saved for future searches. So if I just go unhide all, and let's say the architect adds another floor, or there's a last minute change, we can go here and we can rerun that search again. So I can rerun it, and it's going to find all, and it's going to find all that information. So it's a really powerful tool for interrogating the model and then finding information and then grouping it into searches or sets to manage that data. So with that, what I've done is I've used that tool, going back to the slides, I've used that tool to create these search sets and selection sets to set up my timeliner. So timeliner allows you to bring in multiple construction programs to sync with your model and your selection set you've created. So you could be working with Microsoft Project or Primavera or just a CSV file. You can write your construction program in those applications. Then you can link that information into Navisworks. So you go to Navisworks Timeliner Rules, and a little bit hard to see here in the left, but you can map the timeliner column names to the selection sets. So that's what I've done. I've gone through and I've got my construction program. The names do have to match, so make sure you've got this in your BIM execution plan, that whatever you create here has to match the construction program. Then what you do is you go to the AutoTask tool. So let me just go back a little bit. So selection sets, and I go to my timeliner. And I won't do this right now because it just takes a little bit of time and I need to double check. What you've got here is you can do AutoTask, and for every set, for example, it will go through and do it. So let me just undo that because I don't want to destroy what I've already configured. But that's essentially what you can do. So you can see when I clicked on that for every set, it went and aligned it all together. So here I've got a video, and our apologies if the videos are lagging a little bit. These will show up on the recorded presentation. So even though they may be jumping at your end, you will see these when you can download the video. So this is just a timeline I've created for some structural components. And all I've done is set up my names, the planned start dates, the planned end dates, and then I've run this construction program in Navisworks, and you can see the building is assembling before your eyes. There's also a date and timestamp, so you can add items here. So let me just go back to Navisworks. What you can do when you come to configure the settings here, you can start to add different overlay texts here. So these are kind of the formulas, so you can add costs and extras and all this sort of stuff and change the font. What you do when this happens is that drives the information here. So I'll just drag along a little bit the scripts, and you can see as I'm moving through the days and the weeks of August, these are when my piles are being rammed into the ground, my pile caps are being poured, and as we go through the months, you can see we're now starting to do the slabs, the cores have gone up, and we're finally getting our structural components up. So this is the tasks here, my construction program, and if I zoom back a little bit, you can start to see, I haven't done all of them yet, but this is like week 1, week 2, and we're adding that construction program. We can even drag and drop and move it around. We can be a bit loose about it, saying, well, it's going to the beams are going to arrive on this day, but we're going to allow a bit of time during that day for any delays from delivery. So you can really start to intuitively work your way around this program to work out your construction schedule here. Another cool thing, as I mentioned, like a lot of these big companies are doing high-end presentations. Navisworks will render on the cloud, so this is the same data set. I can send it to the cloud and get back renders like this in minutes to show to the clients. And this is just a quick recording of that. So I won't dive too deep into it. It's just showing you cloud credits, start rendering, some basic settings here to send that information up. And then it calcs on the cloud here, and then you can re-render it as a panorama. Maybe you want to look at like lighting illuminance or different times of the day where the sun's coming into the space. You can do this all from the data you have in the Navisworks model here. And so these are just some of the graphics that we've been getting out of it. And again, a lot of contractors may think, well, we don't need to do that. But if you look at what Langer Rourke are doing and all those big international companies, they're doing this to win work. It's becoming more and more important for them to visually communicate what's going to happen with that design, their understanding of the design, and then they can also download this data to promote. Okay, so understanding the more detailed workflows, I might just skip over this bit as well because this is probably a bit too much of a deeper dive. I just wanted to touch base on construction vehicles. So what we have inside of the application, inside of Max, so what you can do is you can link or bring out your Navisworks model as an FBX model, and maybe you want to look at the construction vehicles driving around the perimeter of the building. You may have maybe a 6-meter offset, and that's a zone for vehicles to get around, and you've got turning circles and you've got drop-down areas. You can work this out inside of 3ds Max with Civilview. So this is a really simple tool to use. It's just an add-in to the application. And what we can do here is we can fire up the object placement style editor and start to put in our vehicles. So under the construction vehicles, it ships with excavators, front loaders, movers, and rollers. So you've already got some of these ready to run. You don't have to go and find your own, but you can still load more to your library. And you can start to set up shapes or paths for them to follow. You can set the kilometers per hour, so there may be a limit on how fast they can go around the site. There may be a speed limit on the site as well. So you can start to simulate these with actual real-world parameters. We simply bring this information from Navisworks into Max. This is just setting up a rectangle. So I'm looking at my construction vehicles and a zone for moving around the perimeter of the building. So I've just done a little sketch line here, and then I've grabbed some excavators and I've just attached them to that line. And I've given them a speed, and then they're geared up to run around that building. So quick video here, and again, if there's any lag, this will be played. We've got some loaders coming in, we've got some excavators moving around the perimeter of the building. It doesn't have to be loaders, it could be delivery vehicles, it could be trucks picking up excavated material. And we've got them coming into site, we've got a turning circle, they're picking information up, and then they're exiting. So if you've got the first stage of your project, then you need to work this out, and you need to communicate to everybody. Maybe you don't have enough space for the trucks to turn around. Maybe you don't have enough perimeter space to get the equipment in there. You can do this type of preview. So the graphics aren't brilliant here. This is just a very fast preview that's done in the minutes. But you can start to simulate your construction vehicles with your Navisworks model using Civilview and 3ds Max. This one is, I'm just going to move on from that one. I want to jump into another presentation now just to take you through a couple other workflows. So that's the front-end stuff inside of Navisworks. I just want to go to the questions. Do we have any questions come through just yet? Not yet. We do have 10 attendees on. Okay, so just a reminder for anybody, please type your questions into the question box here, and I'll do a bit of a discussion on those at the end. Okay, so the other ones just wanted to go over, picking up from Navisworks timeline. We do have tools for doing this on the cloud. So this one is called BIM 360 Glue, and this allows you to do the coordination, kind of like clash detection. So Navisworks has some fantastic clash detection tools, but BIM 360 Glue allows you to do this on the cloud without having to upload data to FTP sites. And just while I'm about to launch into this, a quick thing to note here, if you're on Navisworks 2016, we actually added a BIM 360 tab here. So I can open a cloud BIM 360 model on Navisworks now. So I can go to Project, and this is going to indicate my BIM 360 products that I can choose from. And if I go and choose, say, this one here, what it's going to do is it's going to show me the models that are uploaded to the cloud. So these are some of the published models that are separate files. So one could be from a structural engineer, one's from the architect, one could be from maybe a subbie doing the framing, the internal dry lining. They can all go up, then they can be merged. Everybody's done on the cloud, but you can go and open the cloud data from Navisworks 2016. So this is streaming the data directly from the cloud, and I can do more types of activities and tasks directly in Navisworks with that cloud model. So it may be a little bit slow because we're running a webinar, so maybe I'm asking it to do a little bit too much. So we'll come back to that, but that's just a new function. So back to the presentation. So BIM 360 Glue, it is what it says. It glues the model together on the cloud. So if you've got Revit or AutoCAD or Navisworks, you can click on these add-ins, and what it's going to do is you click glue, and it's going to create a lightweight version of the model, push it up to the cloud, and then what we have on the screen here is our splash screen where we have models from the architects and the mechanical engineers, etc. They will get pushed up from locations anywhere in the world. Everybody can send it to that one location. And then the construction manager or the person doing the BIM management can then glue it or merge it together and then start analyzing different parts of that model. It's got a really clean, simple interface as well. So you saw the one on Navisworks where I just did the basic walkthrough with the avatar. The one here on BIM 360 Glue is even cleaner and simpler. So over here on the left-hand side, you've got all the typical tools you'd expect for doing the review. So measurement tools, viewing, markups with the pencil here. It also tracks the activities in real time. So you can see who's been in the model, who's had comments, what's been reviewed, what's been uploaded. And then you've got clash detections and attachments, links to URLs, and then an exchange functionality. So the avatar walkthrough is the same. So once you go from Navisworks to BIM 360 Glue, you've got the same menu over here on the right. You can navigate through that model, save views out, and then add notes. So in this case, the connection detail is not right for that bit of steel work. I can mark it up, and then over here on the right, I have an instant tool which allows me to save that view out with the markup, and then I can click on the envelope and send it directly to the collaborators that I need to get the information updated. So it could go to the structural engineer and the fabricator, and the structural engineer may need to adjust his Revit model, the fabricator will need to add connection detail. They can make those changes, then push it back up to Glue, and then I can go through and check this markup and go, right, the connection detail is correct, we can proceed. It's real time. That's the strength of this. Typically the workflows with Navisworks over the years used to be you'd upload it to an FTP site every 2 weeks, everybody would meet. Now you can just instantly do this. So you can see here, I'm the only person on my team sort of really doing this, so it's just my markups. But I can track my activities here. So when I've done a clash detection, a markup, all of this can be tracked, and I've got a date and timestamp here on the right. Clash detection is really easy. It's got a nice simple interface. You can go through the selection tree, add a basic tolerance, and then give it a name, and you're up and running. When it comes back with the report, it will say, here are the items that are open. You can go through that report for each item, click on those red orange dots, it will take you to the components. It will list them down here on the right hand side. So I've got a internal dry lining wall and a cellular beam here. Maybe that could be worked out on site. That's not a major one that I need to address. I could say, well, the guys can plaster around it. They can work it out on site. It's not an issue. So I can go through and select those components and then say ignore. Or maybe I could close them off. Or maybe I've gone back to the fabricator and I've asked for a new detail. They've sent it back. I rerun that clash report. And then when I'm happy with it, I can go and assign it to be resolved. So it's a really simple tool to learn, intuitively pick up, and then manage the different design and consultant authors on your project. You can check all that information without even having to go into the authoring tools. Again, these are some of the ones that are ignored. I've gone over the top with the detailing here. I've added some acoustic panels to the foyer. These things are just foam baffles. You just cut them with a Stanley knife. So this is one that you definitely ignore because the tradesman's just going to cut around it. So that's where you quickly go through this sound wave swell diffuser. You just go through and say, right, we're not going to be clashing that. Or you could leave it out of the model before sending it to the cloud. Another great thing is it's mobile ready. So with the mobile iPad, with the iPad, you can open up the glue model as well. And it gives you a nice little joystick interface here where you can walk around the model and some basic tools here to look at the properties of the model, view different views that people saved, do markups, and measure information. So intelligent building information modeling data comes through. So even if the user hasn't modeled every single tap and every single waste pipe, when you click on those items, even if it's not graphically apparent, the data is embedded and it can be read on the iPad. Also the views as well. So again, if we're back looking at that connection detail and it's not resolved, I can be walking around the model on the iPad and I can go, well, hang on, that's not a junction that I want in the model. I can go back, create that view, do the markup, and then send it back to the author. In this case, architects, we work maybe way too longer hours, we're tired. We occasionally leave out handrails. So for a contractor, he's going to go through the model and go, look, you're going to need a handrail here. So we can go and click on that, and there's just a nice little sketch tool, add a handrail. And then you can click on the envelope button to email it back to the architect saying, drink a bit more coffee, have a few Red Bulls, get these handrails right, because we're not building it without handrails. And then the measurement tools. So working on iPad, if you're doing measurements from point to point, it can be a little bit fiddly. So we've created this tool here which allows you to do object to object. So it will allow you to click the object and then find the shortest distance between that object. So in this case, we've got a couple of lift doors, but there's something embedded in the background here for the doors to slide back into the wall. So we need to know that that's a feature and that we've got 400 mil clearance between there, in case we're running cables or other things through the wall. And then there's also the X, Y, Z coordinates here, or the measurements, showing how accurate it is. So you can see our Z value is 0.00000089 meters. So it's pretty good. It's pretty aligned. So planning and logistics. We did go over this before with the search sets and then saving those search sets or saving the equipment sets, etc. And what I want to move into now is the handover. So during any project, things always change on site. There's always going to be requests for information. There's always going to be maybe a door change if it's a project that takes place over a long time. Building codes could change. So maybe a fire-rated door could go from being a 60 to a 30, require a different type of hardware treatment. So what we have here is BIM 360 field. And this is a really powerful database that allows you to load up a huge amount of information to take out with you on site, but also capture information on site, on the field, and then push that back to the Revit model. So a quick high-level example of this is before we go out on site, we have our plans, our models, a folder for site photos, and a PDF specifications. And this is one that we're looking at for installation of a door. So this is the Steel Door Institute PDF guide. We can load this up, this 39-page document, and we can have this on site should we need to troubleshoot anything. So when we're in the office, we sync it to our mobile device, to our iPad. You don't have to have a SIM card when you're out on site. All this data is there. And then when you come back from site and you're back within your firewall, you can sync it by downloading it back to the BIM 360 field database. And all that information is going to be available to all the other trades or consultants working on your project. So a simple example here is I'm out on site, maybe the door hasn't been installed properly, maybe it's been left out in the rain and the cover blew off and it's warped, maybe the hardware is wrong or it's damaged or scratched. So I can go and create an issue for this door. I'll give it a name. I can give it a issue type. In the US they call it punch lists, in the UK they call it snagging, here with defects. I can give it a punch list, assign it to a company, and then I can say it's ready to inspect or the dispute, etc. With the setup, this is what's crucial in BIM 360 Fields, the setup. You add all this information as a checklist to go through before you go out on site. So you don't have to be an experienced grey-haired architect or engineer to be out on site doing this. You can give it to a junior, and it's really simple. They can click on the checklist, and they're there, and they're going, right, for the installation of the metal doors and frames, I've got to go through and check it for this item. This has been set up for me. So they click on the checklist, verify rough framing for doors and jambs is required. They've skipped that one. Verify the doors have been stored and handled correctly. Okay, so there's an issue. Maybe they haven't been stored flat, they're not clean, they've got covered in dirt, they've been left, water's warped them and stuff like that. So we create this issue. We can take photographs. So here is just me taking some photographs at the Autodesk office of some door closers, marking up the floor plan. So even if you don't have building information modeling data, you can still do it with PDF information, and then a link to the manufacturer's website. So you're always going to have constant information at your fingertips. So Schuko Doors, the German manufacturer, I can look up information about that door. I can go here, I've assigned it to Ryle Construction, I'll put a push pin in the floor plan, and this can be in the 3D model, and then I've set it to draft. So maybe I need to just double check and verify this information. I'm kind of not sure whether it's been looked or whether it's right or not. I can create a draft, and it's going to give me a little pink push pin here. Maybe there's other items that you go around on site. You're looking at the railing connection detail to the slab. You're having a fight with Glubific Steel. Maybe they didn't package it correctly when it was delivered to site, or someone bent it. So when we create a dispute, we put that push pin in the model or the push pin in the plan, it's going to show as yellow. So as you go through and the main contractor is looking at all the items, if they see like a lot of yellow push pins in one area of the building, that's going to be their focus. They've got a lot of stuff that they've got to act on. Whereas other ones that are closed off, they can say, okay, that's fine, or okay, we've got a lot of red ones here, we've got to go out and inspect and then sign off on it, and then we can come back and we can approve it or close it off. The next big thing, this is one of the key things of using the Autodesk software in this workflow, is the data you capture on site can not only go back to the BIM 360 field database on the cloud. You can export this out as an Excel document, but you can also sync it back into Revit. So we can go and sync it back through BIM 360 Gluer's equipment properties here, and the information we captured on that door can now come back into the Revit model, and we can give this to a client for facilities management or operational maintenance. So what you see here is when I click the intelligent information in the door, see the door doesn't have much in it, there's no hardware or kick plates or handles or anything. But here inside the intelligent data is all the information that we created on site. So there's a lot of data that you can capture on site, sync it back through Field and Glue, and then push it back into the Revit model, and then you can give it to a client. So it could be a university client or a healthcare client. They can use that with other tools to manage that facility during the building life cycle. So I'm just going to duck back into the questions just to make sure we don't have any questions, or we do have any questions. So no questions, no chats. Okay, I hope you're all still listening. Again, this will be recorded, so maybe you're distracted by your work. And we do have Mitra with a hand raised. Sorry, Mitra. So if you can type in your question into the question polls. And let me just check. Okay, so yeah, so Mitra, if you type in your question into the question poll here, we'll do a bit of Q&A at the end. And I did see your hand was raised. Okay, so the next section here is another application that ties in with our BIM 360 packages, and this is for surveyors out on site surveying the as-built information. So this is a total station workflow. So we've got a total station out on site. We can capture this information. We can transfer it back through BIM 360 field through Point Layout that sits in Revit back into the model. So typically on a site, we'll pour the slabs, do the columns, but not everything's going to be perfect. Like things are not millimeter perfect on construction sites, especially at that level. We can survey it with a laser total station here and get accurate information and then feed that back into the Revit model. So if we're still doing the lean construction, the just-in-time information, and we're still doing our petition layouts, we can use that information to make sure that where we're setting that next petition out from is exactly correct with what's been built with the structural components. So this is the Point Layout add-in for Revit. And when you get this, it's going to give you this new ribbon interface where, like on all Autodesk software, you work from the left to the right. So what I've got here, and I just brought up a slightly larger view, is the control points that I've set out that's going to go out to the total station for setting out different points of the slab or the walls or the columns, etc. So these are called GTP points, control points, and you can do it directly on points or objects. In this case, the automation process is to do it by placing on grid. There's an automatic point number here, and again, you can change this all in this point descriptions. So we're going to go through, add those points, and then there's an option to also create a tag. So like in Revit, if you use the spot elevation or coordinate tags, you can do that as well with the point layout. So we can choose that, and as we go through and place those points, it's going to give us a prefix and a point number. So this one tells me that it's level 2, and it's for the grid section being named as 183. And then there's another one here for the top of the 186. The other more advanced workflow is maybe you want to embed it in a family. So there's nothing to stop you from using Point Layout. This is an example of adding a GTP point to a pile cap, and then you can see here I've got the tags for the center of those pile caps. So there's a lot of advanced stuff you can do with this. And then you can add wall family points. So we can give it a prefix, a start number, point roles, point phase. All this information can be set up, whether you want to mark the top or the bottom, how you want to track it. All of this can be done with Point Layout as well to get accurate points into the model and then feeding it back from the as-built to Revit, which I'll show you in a sec. The other one for the structural engineers is we have deflections and slabs. So when concrete's poured, it sags a little bit. You have deflection heads for the drywalls, etc. You can start to look at how much deviation has actually happened in the concrete slab. So you can see here over on the right-hand corner, the bottom right-hand corner of my building, there is maybe a little bit too much deflection or sag on my slab here. So you can see it's getting close to the 100 mil mark, which is probably a little bit too much. So I can go and bring data back into Revit and then see where there are some issues with that as-built information. You can transfer the data as well via, say, a USB key to the total station, or you can do it via BIM 360 field via the cloud. So this is just the output. So some of the QA/QC reports that's come back directly, information on different sort of GTP layouts here. And if I just show you the graphic explaining that, you can see here that this particular point was meant to be in a different location, and we've got a suffix at the end of it where we've said it's AB for as-built. When we load that surveyed information from the construction site back into our Revit environment, we can pick up here and say, well, look, this column isn't in the right place. Let's do our setting out from the as-built information. Let's not set it out from here because there's going to be a lot of knock-on issues. So this is just a quick overview, but it's a really powerful tool to help you with your construction development and as-built workflows as you're pouring those slabs and installing those columns. So again, this is just the proposed 101.44 is just out a little bit, and the as-built isn't too bad. So there's probably a few tolerances to pick up there. You could probably still set out from the as-built. Whereas this one here, you're a little bit off, so I wouldn't be working off the original design intent. Okay, so that was the main part of the presentation, and just to check the time, we've got just under 10 minutes for Q&A, and I'm just going to get into this now, and this is always the tricky bit, trying to read this information. So let me just bring this across a little bit and drag that down so I can see. Here we go. Okay, so a little bit fast for me. So Mitra, are you going to put this on YouTube for future view? Mitra, we will have this available on our website where you can download, and we can send you the recording. I do have some similar workflows on our ANZ YouTube channel, so I can send you some links to that, which go a little bit slower and do a bit of a deeper dive, breaking down some of the workflows. So yeah, we'll send that through. Okay, so Tyson, are you able to provide any examples pertaining to Civilview? So this is the Civilview for 3ds Max, or the Civil 3D for roads and tunnels? Sorry, Tyson, can you just expand on the question here? Civil 3D to 3ds Max. We do have a technical specialist who could do a bit on that. We can connect you with him. His name is Andrew Milford. In terms of the workflow in a bit more detail, what I do have, and I think this should be up here, Autodesk ANZ YouTube. We have recorded a number of picks and clicks workflows, and we've actually got quite a few videos here. So what's really good is even if you miss a webinar, we are starting to put a lot of them here on the Autodesk ANZ YouTube channel. So the webinars are like an hour, half an hour. Now we go to the video list here. You'll see there's a number of workflows, just giving you like a quick workflow on how to do one type of thing. So here's one I put together, 8 minutes on Civilview. And don't need to hear any more of my voice today. So here on the Civilview, this is a recording with a voiceover, and with that voiceover, let's bring my question poll across again. Yep, I'll send a link through. So yeah, I'll email me after this, Mitra, and I will send you a link to the presentation once it's up online. And then for Tyson, this is the workflow for Civilview. We do have numerous Autodesk sites where we go into more detailed workflows for the civil space, and if something's not there, please send us a note and we will make that video for you. So these are like the ones from our tech days, different ones across all types of industries. So there's a wealth of knowledge there to give you a flavor of how to get up and started on a product, one that our tech specialist Andrew put together. This is the ANZ Technology Day Autodesk Vehicle Tracking Parking Layout. And again, this is in the civil environment where you can use some of the add-ins for doing parking layouts. So we could start to expand on that. We do welcome any feedback. What I will do is I'll provide yourselves with my email here at the end. So if anybody does have any questions, please email me here, and I'll be happy to either connect you with the right people on the team or answer your questions directly or send you links. Okay. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes. Any more questions? I think a couple from Mitra and Tyson, and we will send out the links to the presentations as soon as available. Again, just a reminder, this is recorded, so all of it will be there. And I'm more than happy to do a follow-up if you or anybody in your company want to see this presentation, want us to come visit you or do something remote. We can get some information from you, set up an agenda of the items you want to go a bit more of a deeper dive on, and then come and take you through those workflows. Okay, so I think I've got all the answers here. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much to everybody for taking time out of your lunch today to join this webinar, and we will be, you will get an email from Autodesk Marketing once it's up online, and again, my details are here on the screen, so please feel free to email me directly with any questions, and hopefully I can help you with your software needs. All right, thanks very much.